All right. So, this is the part where Oliver doesn't know I'm recording everything and he's got to deal with it. And so, we're just going to see what he says. Welcome to the beginning of the episode, ladies and gentlemen.
What did you say? You said something.
I didn't say anything.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You definitely did.
No.
You're lying to me.
There's nothing.
You
on
fucking
there.
said something. What'd
There's-
you say?
There's nothing on there.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Legit.
I didn't say
for real.
anything.
You definitely.
Watch
I heard
the episode.
You. No,
Just watch the episode.
I'm not gonna do that. What'd you actually say for real?
I just said wait to see what you do when you come in.
Oh, you're lying, dude. He's talking shit, isn't he?
I guess I'll have to watch the episode.
Dude, my arm's so white.
Hey guys, welcome to Nerd Locker Podcast, your entertainment podcast for everything movies, television, video games, and more. My name's Adam,
And I'm Oliver.
and today we are going over the final 3 episodes of What If.
Dude, I didn't watch it.
You're lying.
How mad would you be if I didn't watch it?
You're gonna get spoiled. I don't care. I could care fucking less, asshole. Okay. So what did you think overall? Like,
Give me the episode rundown because they're kind of all mushed together at this point.
okay, so where we last left off, we had Kahori,
Right.
and hold on, let me pull up Disney Plus's Instagram because they put up the episode names because I'll forget. So we left with her and Doctor Strange showing up to her
Mm-hmm.
and saying, "I've been looking for you for a long time." And then we jump into what if Hela found the 10 rings.
Right.
So now we
That was
get to
kinda
see
neat.
kind of like Thor's movie, but with Hela instead.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and she like gets this weird like white version, like knowing mercy of her helmet and armor, kind of like how Thor.
Like fucking white
realized-
Gandalf
Yeah.
type of.
Essentially, yeah, it definitely gave those off. And Kate Blanchett came back to voice the role.
Yeah,
which
that was
great.
crazy.
And Anthony Hopkins came back, and we had it was just overall, I enjoyed the episode. It definitely didn't seem connected to the other two because not a lot
It
of
did seem
'cause we had a
off.
different Hela afterwards, and we'll get into that. And we now at least know confirmation of what version of Hela that was.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so it kind of was cool, but what it does do is it gives us more backstory on the 10 rings because it kind of seems like Odin knew about them.
Right.
So are they Asgardian or not?
Because we don't
so-
know for sure, do
Yeah, it gives us a lot more clues to the 10 rings, and like also it shows that when Wu also doesn't have to be a complete asshole. So like, I don't know, there was a lot there in this different universe. So I don't know, maybe they'll touch back up on that season 3, which we'll talk about also a little bit. But then we jump to the penultimate episode, which was what if the Avengers assembled in 1602?
we? That was kind of neat.
Yeah,
That was
we-
interesting.
We get kind of like a mystery. We have Captain Carter there, or she gets approached by Doctor Strange at the end of episode.
And this is after the episode of her taking on the Stomper.
Yeah. So she's talking to Doctor Strange and or no, sorry, that's at the end of this. Sorry. So she's in 1602. She got brought there by Scarlet Witch,
Mm-hmm.
and they're there because time is messing
Getting
up
fucked up.
because someone is there out of time, and it's like a mystery of who it is. And at the end, we find out it's the Steve Rogers that we saw. So this
It was
was
basically Robin Hood.
yeah, and we realized that he, in the battle with Thanos, hit the time stone in this universe,
Right.
which brought all the Avengers to 1602 with their minds kind of wiped in a way and kind of like reprogrammed to be in 1602. So that's kind of weird and kind of cool to see. Like
Mhm.
that's like an alternate version of how that war would have ended, in a way.
The only indication I saw was when he was using the hand shields, not like the Captain America shield,
Yeah.
was the one he was using in that Avengers movie.
Yeah, there was a couple of
Yeah,
clues to
A
show
little
that
bit,
he was the
Easter
one at a
eggs in
time.
there.
And so she ends up figuring that out and thinking like she gave up her happiness again with Steve. And then we get Doctor Strange showing up, or Strange Supreme, to talk to her, saying like, I have a story to tell you. And then we get to the last one, which is what if Strange Supreme intervened? So we get him recruiting Captain Carter and telling her that he's been collecting all these universe killers, where we see the Ultron or the Infinity version of Killmonger in there, and
Hmm.
like the little boy Peter
We see
Quill. So like a
so
lot
many.
of
There's
people
so many.
that we saw in the past or new versions of him. And he is talking to Captain Carter and tells her like, okay, you need to go find this universe killer and help me get them. But they'll attack me if they know it's me, so you have to be the one to do it. So she goes out there, and we get like a Quicksilver moment
Right.
where, yeah,
Yo, yeah.
yeah, and it's Kahori, and she ends up like fighting Captain Carter and basically beating her ass essentially. Even though Captain Carter, it was kind of like equal.
Hmm.
And after they beat up on each other, she tries to explain to her like it's Strange that's doing
That's
this.
controlling all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's trying to bring back his universe and kill all the other ones. So he's not saving universes, he's killing universes. So he's the one that they need to be worried about. So Captain Carter is about to go against Doctor Strange when he shows up, and they get into this huge battle, and Captain Carter's trying to
It's
win.
like a
Blah blah blah.
really long
Yeah,
battle too.
it's a long battle, and then right when they're about to start to lose, and Kahori is like heart like also she speaks English in this one, which I didn't know. I apologize, guys, but I did not know that in the extra section you can actually see or watch a English dubbed version of every
Oh,
episode. So I guess that helps with some people that just don't have the time to pay attention or can't read that
did not
fast
know that.
and da da da. Yeah, because the thing is with the Mohawk language, if you noticed when it came to the subtitles, like they would speak uh longer than the subtitles would stay on
Hmm.
because you talk so much more to say so little in
Right.
that language. So anyways, so she's in this, she's about to lose, and Peggy Carter does the very cliche of like, I'm just gonna fuck everything up, and just
Right.
throws her shield and blasts out all these universe killers, where we get like uh,
So
a
many.
Thor God of Thunder version, or at least some kind of Asgardian uh, armor on Hulk kind of thing. We have
Kind of
a
dope.
rocket with like some kind of blasters.
Something
We have
more
a
than
white
blasters.
hair
So
when
much.
Woo. We have a couple of different versions of Thor. We have like all these different
The
people, kind of like yeah.
the Ultron armor was on what's his name from Black
On
Panther?
Killmonger.
On
Well, we'll
Killmonger.
get to that real quick. But so while everything's going on here, they try to get out and figure out how to like beat Strange and all the
Hmm.
things that are going on, because we're kind of getting like a mini Secret Wars. So they go to this like weird hallway thing. I forget. I can't really recall where it is, but they need or Killmonger comes out of nowhere. Or no, they get attacked by Thanos. Sorry. Thanos is about to snap,
Hmm.
and then he gets snapped away, and you find out it's Killmonger behind them. And Peggy Carter says to Kahorti, like, "Oh, we need his armor." So she's like, "Okay,"
I know,
and
and just
just
warps him out of
warps him
there.
out and just sends him to the battle. So then Peggy Carter grabs his armor and gets a fucking
She's so
upgrade,
OP.
dude. So now we have a Peggy Carter that has all the Infinity Stones with Kahorti to go fight Doctor Strange.
Strange
And
Supreme,
we're
right.
about to get some crazy shit. But before we get to that, here is a word from our sponsor.
Damn, dude, you gotta bite their dick like that, huh?
Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist in their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off at your first month at betterhelp.com/nerdlocker, and that's BETTERHELP.com/nerdlocker. And we've also linked them down below in the description.
Hi, classic horror icon here. You're probably wondering, what's going on?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, do you like scary movies?
Yes.
Then boy do I have some news for you. There's this business called Seventh Inc., founded by Matthew Johnson, a local artist in the Florida area who creates amazing clothing with his own original Halloween-inspired art. Not only do they have t-shirts, hoodies, and dresses. They have pins, magnets, hats, and more.
Wow, these designs are actually pretty sick.
Here, try one yourself.
Oh shit, these are actually pretty nice.
Check under the shirt.
Yeah. How did you get 2 shirts on me? What are you doing? I keep me the shirts.
That's 7th Ink, ladies and gentlemen, and if you follow the link below and use our code ANGEL at checkout, you'll get 10% off your entire order. That's ANGEL at checkout for 10% off your order. They even have holiday designs right now that are to die for. Isn't that right, little buddy? Aww, not another one.
And we're back. So now we have this OP Carter. We have Cohorty against Strange Supreme. And in this battle, now they're starting to fight, and she's using her powers. She's mostly using the Space Stone to fight Strange, which I don't know if that was on purpose, intentional, or just to show different contrasting colors like they always have to do to like show the different Star Wars, Harry Potter, they all do the same.
Right.
And so they're fighting, and then he starts doing his plan, which is feeding these universe killers to the Forge.
Yeah.
To recreate his universe. So he starts sending them all down, and as she's fighting and losing, all of a sudden, well, we get this Hela. So as they're fighting, sorry, I skipped over a part. They run into Zombie Wanda.
Yeah, that was cool.
So that was really cool. And then all of a sudden, when she's raising all these zombies to attack them, they all turn from red-eyed to green-eyed because we get Hela in here, and this is confirmed to be the Hela from 616. So this is the Hela that we saw in Ragnarok.
Okay,
and
interesting.
She's dead. So
that makes sense.
Right. So like when she gets attacked by the big demon guy, I forget his name.
Right.
Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
At the end of Ragnarok, he like attacks her with the sword, and they both like disappear essentially. This is where they went. So that's the same too.
Interesting. Okay.
That's why she's like, so when she sees them, she's like, "Oh, you just killed me. I'm gonna get you back," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or you're about to just kill me, and we were like,
I was wondering what Hela that was.
Strange, yeah. But anyways, as she's falling, she's the first one to throw her helmet over to, which I think that's why they showed that episode beforehand, was because they wanted to establish that the helmet was like the hammer to Thor.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, so I think that's what they wanted to do. And so then we get all these other characters like throwing their stuff. So Wenwu throws his 10 rings, and
and then Thor does throw his hammer.
Yeah, everything else like that, and then they just pick up all these different weapons.
Yo, that's so
Cohorty is not worthy because she doesn't pick up the hammer with her hand; she picks it up with her power. So I think it's a little bit different. But they start attacking Strange, like beating the fuck out of him, and eventually Strange busts you. This motherfucker.
Okay, I think I'm good.
What did I say about sneezing on the podcast?
You didn't say anything.
Exactly.
How the fuck am I supposed to know?
I said, what did I say? You said nothing. Good.
You
Thanks
said...
for answering the question.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Stop looking at me. Now it's gone. Fuck. Damn it. Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Anyways, so they start beating the fuck out of Strange, and then he starts morphing into this demon. Devil-looking thing.
I'm like trying to sneeze right now.
And I'm like, ooh, Mephisto Easter egg. And so he transforms into this, which is his guilt, which he's already transformed into once before in his episode in season 4.
Right.
And so they ended up defeating that and like kind of splitting him off and talking to him and like getting to the good person inside someone, the cliche bullshit.
Yeah.
And he gets out and throws himself and his guilt into the Forge.
Into it, yeah.
Which ends up doing what he wanted, which is recreating his reality.
But he couldn't live in his reality.
Yeah, so he was never born. Everyone else is saved. And then the coolest fucking thing that we finally get confirmation of after, even though it's only been 2 seasons, it's been 4 years, I think, 3 or 4 years that we've had What If around. But at the end of it, Captain Carter's talking to the Watcher's saying like everything's okay and good, and he's like, do you want to go home? She said, yeah, but can we take the scenic route? And he's like, oh, I have some stories to show you. And he moves, and we see the fucking tree that Loki made at the end of season 2. So now we know that fucking tree is canon to the animated universe, which finally crossed over What If. So that green orb in the middle, that green light is Loki sitting there. doing all this, which means Loki's a Nexus being on par with the Watcher.
Cool.
So he should know the Watcher. So I think when it comes to this Secret War stuff, we're gonna get
So much
multiple
shit.
teams, kind of like how we did with Infinity War and Endgame, where we had like some people fighting the Black Order, some people fighting Thanos.
Mhm.
We're gonna get the same thing, but I think we're gonna get like a celestial, like Nexus beings, which is like Loki, Watcher, probably now Peggy
Cool.
Carter, Wanda. Like it's gonna be like OP fucking.
That'd be
people,
kind of dope,
you know?
honestly. Damn.
We're getting such good content in the next couple of years. Like I know Marvel's going through so
How
much, but
miserable
whatever.
how miserable are you gonna be if it ends up like terrible?
I don't think it will be. I think whatever they end up doing, it's going to still make sense. I don't think anything will end up being terrible out of Marvel. I don't even think their worst movies are terrible movies, but they're just not the best movies.
Mhm.
But alone by themselves, which I think that's what we don't look at, is we look at Marvel movies now as how do they compare to everything else within its universe, and I think that's why they're introducing Spotlight with next week with Echo of these shows and movies that will be under a banner that you don't need to watch everything else to appreciate and understand what you're watching with these uh iterations of characters
Right.
and their stories. So I think going forward that's where they're going to try to get to, because I think that's why people don't like, for example, Ant-Man 3. If it was just a movie by itself, like it was the very first Ant-Man, it wasn't part of the MCU, I think it would be much better received than now when it's like comparing it to not only the first two movies, but all of the other movies that have come before. How great, and like Endgame was so good.
Yeah.
I feel like so many things have failed in comparison, especially when the pandemic happened and everything else was just so small on Disney Plus.
Right.
So like we already had that bad taste in our mouths going from something so monumentally big to something so insignificantly small, like to the point where like if you didn't subscribe to Disney Plus because for a year everyone was like, why watch it if they're not going to
Right.
continue
Like
doing
it doesn't
things
matter.
if things shut down? Like it doesn't matter. So ever since then they've been trying to backtrack and speed back up. I don't think it's working. So.
Mm.
But that's just my opinion on that. I mean,
What do you rate the whole season?
I think I rate this season 2, as I would say an 8, and I don't think we reviewed last season because we weren't doing this at the
I don't
time.
think so either.
But I would say the first season was probably a 7, and I only say this is an 8 because of the end scene. Their
Okay.
connection to live action is I'm glad they didn't wait years and years and years to finally do that, especially since they introduced Captain Carter in live action in Multiverse of Madness, a version of her. So it's like you can't go that far, and that's why I think it's in good hands, because regardless of the shakeups and the rewrites and the recastings that they're probably going to do, they still somehow get back on track.
Right.
So I'll give it that.
Okay. Okay. I see that.
What about you?
That's pretty fair. I'm looking at it as just a one season thing. Or well, obviously, like it's connected to season 1, but I'm not looking at it as like connected to the entire Marvel universe because obviously, like you said, it's kind of unfair, like judging Quantumania.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 6.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was okay. There were some episodes that were like super predictable. The animation was good and the voice acting obviously was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just thought it was just kind of meh. Like some episodes, I was like, "Oh, this is really neat," and other
What did you give
episodes,
season 1?
I barely remember season 1. I don't want to judge it
Okay.
if I barely remember it.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
I feel like we did talk about it though.
No.
Really, with the zombies and stuff? I feel like we did.
We've talked like in passing, but we
Oh.
haven't like done a review.
Okay.
But other than that, though, other thing I want to say before we go is there was a teaser for season 3 that
Right.
was released
Yeah.
randomly that has the Winter Soldier and Red Guardian, David Harbour, in this little snippet of them in a car getting stopped by some kind of patrol, and then a gunfight chase out of there in the middle of nowhere, which looks super fun. But that's all really we got. We didn't get too much. We just get some cool banter back and forth, but we don't really get any kind of clue to what's going on or how
Right.
this is
I have no
happening or
idea.
why they're together.
It just says to be continued.
Because
at
it
the end.
says it looks like a younger Red Guardian with a little bit younger of a Winter Soldier. So it's like, where is this taking place? In the
Winter
timeline?
Fox. Winter Fox.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly where we're going with this and when season 3 is supposed to release. I'm going to assume sooner than we think if they're already releasing a teaser.
Right. It's gonna
which
be
means
definitely
it's
sooner.
probably going to end up being this year.
I mean, animation's way easier to do.
They
than...
probably also worked on season 3 ahead of time, or just like with the Iron Man Sakaar episode where it was supposed to be for season 1 and they moved it to season 2.
Mhm.
There might have been a bunch on cutting room floor that they just have
Oh,
ready to
maybe.
go for season 3 that they could push. And also considering Deadpool 2 is or 3 is the only one that's coming out for them this year.
They
I'm
probably
sure they
decided to
wanna
kind of
push
finagle
what if,
some.
yeah, because other than Echo, which will be Tuesday, guys. So next week, whether it be, I don't know, it'll be the Thursday episode, it'll probably be the Saturday episode, but we will be talking about Echo and seeing how good that is, because that's gonna be the first one. I wonder, with this Marvel Spotlight and it being so separate, are they gonna drop the first F-bomb within a Marvel property?
They already did.
No, I mean like a real F-bomb. I'm not talking about like Guardians, like
How is that
randomly
not a
F-bomb.
real F-bomb?
Well, because it was
What's
still...
a fake F-bomb?
No. I'm saying it more on the fact of like, there's one way to use like open the fucking door is one thing. It's not really towards somebody, but I'm saying like towards people, like you fucker, like those things. Like there's one thing to say the word as an adjective as
Right.
opposed to using it against someone in an angry tone. That hasn't been done yet.
Oh, okay.
In the like, no one has said you motherfucker kind of stuff. No one has said you bitch kind of thing. Like no one has used it against people. And I think like with Daredevil, the on Netflix, that was used a lot more. And I just hope that Marvel doesn't, or Disney doesn't like shy away
Nerf
from
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I hope it's used in a way of like, you son of a bitch, and like beating them up, as opposed to like saying it as a exclamation of like feeling like son of a bitch. is
Yeah.
one
Ah,
thing.
you silly.
Yeah, there's two different things of saying like, ah, like stubbing your toe and yelling it, than beating someone up and saying it.
Okay.
It's a whole different.
You're
tone.
looking for cursing like out of pure anger, not like in a comedic
I'm just
fashion.
looking for directive, not even just cursing, just directive violence and adult content.
Okay.
That's directive and not used in an expiatory way. You know.
For anger.
No, doesn't have to necessarily be anger. Like it could be still violence too, because like even the violence is still not. You don't feel it. Like when it came to Daredevil, and like when Daredevil beat the fuck out of Kingpin, you felt that. Like that was
Right. That
raw.
was like, yeah.
You don't feel that
gritty.
when Hawkeye is punching a random alien in Avengers 2.
Oh,
Like,
I see what you
you're
mean.
not feeling that. It's just there, but you're not recognizing the violence as much as someone when they do a close up on the blood on their hands, like they should
I
in
see
the
what you mean.
trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying like as long as that is the tone throughout, not just a one scene bullshit thing, but like consistent like Daredevil was, I would accept that more, because that's
Mhm.
not something Marvel does. Like Marvel right now has violence, but it's not in the way that you think. Even like, I mean, the earliest or the most recent, sorry, is Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with Rocket attacking High Evolutionary.
Right.
Like that was violence against someone, but you can tell the difference where you're in that moment watching that on film. You're like, wow, I feel for him. As
Mhm.
opposed to, like I said, in the background, people are just punching back and forth like Mortal Kombat. You're not thinking too much of it.
Right.
you
Okay.
know? So
I
that's
see
what
what you mean.
So I hope it's grounded, real, and more in your face than the big space odysseys that we get.
Yeah. When's Daredevil supposed to be coming out?
It got delayed because it's getting rewritten. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Um,
But I think that's it for this episode.
cool.
All right. Where can they find you?
You can find me at the Sphere 21 on any social media platform, including that's Twitch, Instagram, except for TikTok. TikTok, I am Oliver Kahn VA.
And you can find me at AMOR Photography. You can find the studio at Archangel Studios Official. And you can find this podcast at Nerd Locker Podcast, wherever you get them. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Dude, your beard's looking good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, actually. You put product in it?